Good evening. We are here on Living with Essential Oils, and I am going to be talking a little bit about our Serenity Sleep System tonight. And so I'm really excited to share a great deal of the information that Laura Jacobs shared at convention in this presentation tonight. She has such a massive amount of information. I'm going to warn you right now. And I'm looking forward to sharing some of that with you guys. My name is Julie Scott, and I am a wellness advocate with doTERRA. If you haven't met me before, I have been using essential oils for a very long time, almost 37 years now. And I started with doTERRA 4 years ago. And it was noticeably a much better quality of oils. But the other thing that really drew me into what doTERRA does besides their incredible products is the education. And so getting to be on this side and sharing resources on how to use essential oils and know the effectiveness of what it is that you're using is so incredibly empowering. And when you have these tools within your home to take care of yourself, your family, even your fur babies, it's just an amazing way to support your overall health journey. So I'm just super excited to share this information. And the first question I have is, what are we solving for in this? And when it comes to a lot of what we're trying to offer is other alternatives besides the healthcare options that are out there at this time. And we're really trying to focus on quality of life. And the more that we can live in a better quality of life, things are just going to all be better. And doTERRA does a really great job at being very proactive in what they do and helping us find natural ways of addressing those root concerns, because really temporary and superficial solutions just are not enough. And also looking at the choices that we're making each day, which are really foundational for our wellness. So your body is going to be a reflection of your lifestyle. And really what doTERRA has created as a model, a really easy to follow wellness path with the products to support you at any point of your journey. And so I'm going to help to guide you in this on your way. And so this wellness lifestyle pyramid is really designed and kind of shows you a structure that can be very foundational from the bottom up and supporting us in all these other activities. And today we're really going to focus on this rest portion of the rest and management stress in the lifestyle wellness pyramid. So the bottom line is that sleep impacts quality of life and your health, period. And there are really several different aspects. Sleep impacts our health span, our, overall, our lifespan, biological age, not just chronological age, our metabolic health, the holistic well-being, and how it is that we're living things out day to day, the kind of energy that we have, and a holistic fitness and beauty, and vice versa, right? So if we're struggling in these areas, it's also going to impact our sleep. But how each other has a relationship. But who needs sleep anyway? The quote that people say is sleep when we're dead. We seem to think that, we don't need to sleep. And are more than willing to make sacrifices in that space. And because misery loves company, you are not alone. Many, many, many people, anywhere from 50 to 70 million Americans, have sleep issues, and they're not getting a good quality of sleep. And usually, women have a lot more trouble staying asleep more than men. And you can believe that there is quite a market out there. It's expected to reach 137 billion in 2026. So, we're always trying to look out for ways to get our sleep. And when we don't, there's a lot of consequences that happen here. And I thought that this was really interesting. Of course, we have trouble remembering things and staying motivated, toxic load. Our body is not able to recover in the way that it needs to. So that impacts a lot of our brain cognitive function, hormone imbalances, reduced sex drive, that we lose that intimacy with our partners. And then the fourth one I thought was really fascinating in the sense that we really are impaired with our risk taking, and we decline in judgment and behavior. So a lot of times when we aren't getting our good rest, we're not making very good decisions. And it goes way beyond just feeling tired. So what is it about sleep? And there's been a lot of research out there as far as what it takes to get a good night's sleep. And I thought that this was really fascinating. There are 4 stages of sleep, and we're going to touch on a little bit of them. And it's just a really fascinating aspect of how we are getting our sleep. So in stage 1, this happens within the first 10 to 20 minutes. It's kind of that period where we're starting to drift off. I call it the unwind. And we're really trying to lighten up our thoughts, get settled into our space and start to fall asleep. So things are starting to slow down. And you start to see those physiological changes that are happening. In the second stage, that light sleep and relaxation, there's a lot more. The physiological processes are really starting to slow down. Even our body temperature changes, brain waves are remaining very slow. And this is actually one of the longer stages of our sleep, and it lasts up to about 60 minutes. Now, stage 3 is where we start to see some deep sleep. And this is where I almost feel like we kind of go in this hibernation kind of mode. Things are really starting to go slow. We get into different brain waves, delta waves, and we're starting to see areas where our body is trying to repair itself. So it's as far as affecting our growth hormone. And that is also impacting how our soft tissues are getting rebuilt and repaired. It's mending blood vessels, so it's impacting our circulation. And here we're seeing a lot of immune supporting behaviors. Our hormones are balancing out, and then there's starting to be some brain processing. So really starting to process some other aspects of what we've been thinking about, what's on our mind. And here we go into stage 4. This is the REM sleep. And REM is actually an acronym for rapid eye movement. So the first cycle is usually about 90 minutes in, and here things start ramping up. You have a much higher brainwave activity, rational thought dormant. So you kind of are getting more into that imaginal piece of our brain where we really start creating a different realm. And then we also are processing our emotions here. So our body has a tendency to become paralyzed, but at the same time, our heart rate, our blood pressure, and our breathing is all increasing. And then the last one I think is really fascinating to tune into, and it's that memory consolidation. So it's like our brain is really putting things in order, and it's an opportunity to really help our brain recover from any kind of trauma or stress and those kinds of things that are happening in our lives. So, overnight therapy, I just love this. Sleep to remember. We also sleep to forget. So, with all this kind of activity, we are actually kind of clearing things out and getting rid of the waste. It's not just cellular, but it's also the emotional pieces of it. So a lot of times we're processing a lot of things, and here in that twilight zone, a lot of people have a tendency to even solve some problems overnight. So what could go wrong? And confessions of a poor sleeper. You know, we could make up for our sleep, but if we continually struggle with our sleep quality, we're going to have a lot more issues happening on a daily basis. And we have a lot more interruptions, and we have difficulty managing our mood. We get easily distracted. We start reaching for other sources of energy, a lot more caffeine. The other issue is that people actually consume more calories per day because our brain is really starving because it's not getting the rest and recovery that it needs. So instead, a lot of people have a tendency to eat more. And then we just can't get comfortable, whether it's the pillow or the mattress or just the daily life experiences that we have. And we're starting to see a lot more physical problems when this continues to happen. So the question is, what kind of morning do you want to have? I know I struggled with sleeping for a very long time. And when I stopped hitting the snooze, button and getting myself up out of bed, I started seeing shifts. But it is really hard when you get up out of bed and you're feeling groggy, and it's just takes so much energy to get moving throughout the day. So wouldn't it be nice to wake up feeling rested and just ready to jump out of bed and get your day started? I love that sensation. It's a wonderful way to start your mornings. So solving for sleep. And there's a lot of practice when it comes to this. And I think it's really important to talk about sleep hygiene. This is something that I learned years ago as a recreation therapist, and talking a lot about relaxation and self-care and all those kinds of pieces. Sleep hygiene was something that I learned about a long time ago. And this is kind of breaking out and explaining all those different aspects of it. So when we are consistent with our timing and our schedule, it becomes a whole lot more ingrained. Our circadian rhythms become in cycle. Those other things, as far as just, of course, if you have more energy, but you're also expelling energy and you're moving throughout your day, that is also going to help you with getting a better night's sleep. Paying attention to when you're eating certain foods or consuming calories. TV in bed. I eliminated a TV from my bedroom years ago because I knew so many people that had a TV always on while they were sleeping. And you do those overnights and you learn very quickly, like, this is so disruptive. And so those overnights at staying at somebody's house, I learned very quickly I did not ever want to have a TV in a bedroom. So just some of those conditions of how you are working at that timing piece, because quantity is that consistency and really helping you to get into that pattern. And so timing is actually going to change as we get older. When we are younger, we're going to need a lot more sleep. There's just a lot more brain development happening. You're also learning a lot of things. That takes a lot more energy for your brain. And so sleep is a way to help our brain to recover and learn from the environment that we're in. And as an adult, between 18 to 60 years old, sleep can actually vary for people. And it really depends on the activity that you're involved with. Um, some people need 7, some people need 10 hours per night. So finding what is meaningful for you is really important. And then as we get older, again, 7 to 9, 7 to 8 hours. And as we age to get 65 and older, deep sleep really declines after we're 70. So you just see a lot of people who sleep a lot less when they're older, but they're not needing the brain function like we did when we were younger because there's so much problem solving that we're facing as we're younger. Another piece that's really important is exposure to daylight, and also paying attention to what kind of light you're getting exposed to. So having an opportunity to wake up with the daylight is wonderful. However, as we're starting to get shorter on daylight, that's not, unfortunately, some of us have to wake up before that sunrise. So when you have more exposure of this sunlight, it's a really great way to help your circadian rhythm. As someone who worked in a dark room all day long, I became very sensitive to sunlight. And now I have to work in an environment where I have some sunlight coming in, and it really helps my body in order to function much better. And diffusing a citrus oil can feel like you're turning the light on in your space. So starting that first thing in the morning can be another way to help you get awake. Watching what kind of lights you're exposing yourself to. And I thought it was really interesting that the doTERRA sun line that we have that facial moisturizer, and using that on our face can actually protect our skin from all the blue light that we're exposed to. This is a fun little hack. So creating a sleep environment, your space that you spend 1/3 of your life is so important. So reducing disruptions, working on the temperature of your space, having a nice bed to sleep in that is inviting. Chris and I have gotten into a practice of making our bed so that when we walk into that bedroom, it's so inviting to get into a nice, clean made bed, to kind of set the tone of things. How you even have your furniture placed, being able to have some space to move around in your room is really nice too. So some things that you can do. This is quite a list here as far as like a bedroom routine, and you can just kind of pick out some things, but what is inviting you to help get into that bedtime routine? And there's a lot of research behind this too, and making sure that you have the time to get into your bedtime routine. So some of the things that we can do is take your Serenity soft gels. And Laura was even talking about taking it anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour before you go to bed. And we'll get into a little bit more about the soft gels and why you would do that. Diffusing Serenity blend. We just started diffusing the Shirin Yoko. That's Shinrin Yoku. Oh my gosh, I got to pull it out to look at it, say it right. Because there are some indications that it can help lower your cortisol levels, that's stress hormone. So anything that can help you to create that space to soothe your mind as you're getting ready to go into bed. And so some solutions for serenity. Lavender is really the backbone of this blend that we have. And that's because a lot of research has identified lavender as a very effective oil that helps people to get a good night's rest. Now, I thought it was really fascinating. Dr. DeBell had kind of compared the general lavender that has been tested that shows efficacy for really significant outcomes with lavender. So why wouldn't we have a better success and even more reliability with the lavender oil that we have, which is pretty powerful statement. And one of the things about having a blend of oils is the more complex a blend can be, the more well-rounded it can be to support us. So the Serenity oils has a lot of different kinds of oils, the florals, the woods, the roots, the different herbs, and it makes it that much more effective when we're using oils that have a calming, sedating effect. And so doTERRA has come out and upgraded and created a new product to help us with this. So we have all three approaches in the sleep system. We have the aromatic with the essential oil, and the oil is in these other products. We have a soft gel that we can take internally to support us and taking it and helping us at a cellular level. And then we also have the topical piece of the Serenity stick, which also has a nice moisturizing effect too, which I think was a really nice thing to point out. So the internal usage. So sleep studies suggest that a lack of sleep is linked to reduction in healthy microbes in your gut, and an unhealthy microbe could have negative effects on your sleep. So we're touching on just some of the gut health that is going on. And of course, our body is trying to recover at a cellular level as we're sleeping. And so taking it internally can be a really powerful support system for these different mechanisms. And the tart cherry is actually an newer addition to the soft gels because it has tryptophan in it, which is a naturally occurring source of melatonin. So by taking it that 30 minutes or an hour before you go to sleep, you're already starting to load your system with some melatonin to kind of help set the tone and get you all ready to start getting your system to calm down and get even faster into those different later stages of sleep. So the ingredients in here, it has the lavender. It also has a compound that I'm not going to be able to say this, but it helps boost those alpha waves in those earlier stages. It increases GABA in the brain. And this is that compound that we need to have co-nutrients for to make that helps us to manage our stress. It also helps us to manage our mood. And it's just really awesome that the Serenity also has it in here to be able to support us in those spaces when we're in that space of problem solving in that twilight. And then the support team is the lemon balm, passion flower, and chamomile. So the topical and aromatic solutions, there's a variety of topical applications. We can use the Serenity oil. If you feel like you need just an extra support, you can take that oil, put a drop in your hands of the Serenity oil and inhale that, and then take your Serenity stick and apply it on your neck and shoulders, on your elbows, elbow creases, your wrist creases, and on your feet. The other thing that I would really recommend as well, I've been doing this almost since I started applying it to my abdomen, just working it around your belly button, going clockwise, because your stomach is producing 90% of your neurotransmitters, and that's where your melatonin and serotonin are produced. So let's put it right there on our belly. And then I love that these additional new products that we have, the Blue Lotus and Shinrin Yoku, can also be used to support us in this space. So I just think it's amazing that they have really put together a product line that they've released all at once to really promote a good, sound sleep. So what's cool about this Serenity Stick, which is brand new, is that it also has valerian in here. And again, inviting, grounding, moisturizing. It has that Serenity oil in here. And then valerian is a new oil for us. It comes from Asia, and there's a variety of a variety of supports that it provides for us. And a lot of people would take it internally. It comes from the root of the plant, and this valeric acid is what affects that GABA and the serotonin receptors. And so these have been researched, or this acid there's been a lot of research out there on this impact. And again, it just shows another added value of the product that we have. So quality of sleep can mean something different for everybody. And in what ways are you measuring your quality of sleep? Is it just by the number of hours you're sleeping? Again, that's kind of quantity. But how do you determine like what is your best sleep? I know a lot of people do wearables to track their sleeping markers as far as paying attention to heart and stuff like that, oxygen intake. Some people like to journal as a way to track their sleep. So what? Wait, there's more ways that you can track this? Absolutely. We actually have a wellness lifestyle assessment, and it kind of goes over these different aspects of the wellness period. And one of them is really talking about that rest piece and looking at how you evaluate your sleep hygiene. And again, all these things, all those choices that we're making to help support us in our quality of life, and being able to identify and become aware of those choices that we're making and where we can improve can be very valuable. So less sleep is going to impact all these other areas of the wellness pyramid. It's going to affect, kind of going back earlier, it's going to affect our gut health. It's going to affect our stress management. It's going to affect our energy, our metabolism. And, the toxicity is not on here, but that's another issue, because again, we're not able to get rid of the waste that our cells are producing, and being able to repair those different aspects. And then the informed self-care, there's a lot of issues with our health when we start declining on the amount of sleep that we're getting. So find the areas that you need to support, and doTERRA has some great ways to support you in creating an individualized support system. And what's really great with this, we have all these different areas, and if you're able to identify like where you are struggling, just focusing on one of these areas can be very helpful in getting better sleep. So when we take care of that nutrition and digestion with our supplements, with that lifelong vitality, and using the Terrazymes, and now we've got this incredible Restore, PB Restore product, those probiotics, prebiotics, probiotics, and the postbiotics. So again, really giving our gut the support it needs. The movement and metabolism, that metabolic support with the MetaPower. And then that deep blue can be another great way to help reduce some of the physical strain and helping our body to recover. That's Serenity System. And then with that, managing the stress, the adaptive can be another great resource, because it has GABA nutrients in those capsules. And then reducing toxicity with the deep blue, the copaiba, frankincense oil. Those are some really great ways to help reduce some of that toxic load that could be happening for us. So what are some of the takeaways? Solving for a quality of life that lasts as long as you do. The more that we can become aware and what we need to make those changes in, it's going to just help us to create those shifts. So making sleep a priority, evaluating like what is your sleep looking like, and then creating a personalized routine that makes sense for you to get the best quality of sleep. And if using the Serenity system can be another effective tool. And then once we put that in practice on a consistent basis, we can make some big changes. So melatonin biosynthesis, this just kind of shows you a little bit as far as like some of the compounds that can be supporting us. And there's a lot of nutritional supports and that lifelong vitality that's going to support us in all these other pieces in helping our body to get the best recovery. So I just wanted to touch a little bit on the Shinrin Yoku and how it can also be another positive piece to be able to support us with that Serenity system, because when we're able to manage our stresses throughout the day, Shinrin Yoku can be another great companion with the Serenity. And what's really awesome, from just some small sample sizes, and hopefully they're going to do some bigger research studies as a result of it, but they're noticing that cortisol levels are coming down with this blend. So that is pretty exciting factor to come out from this. And then what are some things that you can do? When we make those changes for ourselves and we're able to get a better quality of sleep, we can't help but want to share it with other people. And doTERRA has some really great ways to support us in that space. A simple way is using your Refer a Friend program. If you're a customer, you can get paid to share your story about how your sleep has gotten better with doTERRA. And if you want to find a way to do that, please reach out to Chris and I or anybody who is supporting you with your doTERRA journey. We want to help you get so much out of what doTERRA has to offer for us. I mean, they have an incredible product, but they do so much more in a way that helps us to be able to, we can get compensated for it. We can get free products out of this just by taking advantage of all the different ways that they support us. So I just want to, I may have cut it off a little bit from the Shinrin Yoku because I think that deserves its own living with the essential oil, living life with essential oils session. And we'll do that because this was a lot of content. And I just want to thank you so much for tuning in this evening and wherever you are in your day and checking this out. We love you and hope you have sweet dreams with these wonderful products. Thank you so much.